Just give it a try. If you can't, let me know. Go ahead, Cal.
It's recording.
All right, thank you. Just
Okay,
send it.
can you see my QuickBooks log on now?
I can.
Perfect. Okay. So I'll just sign in here. So for QuickBooks Online, we only have the 4 AHID companies and then this other one, which I don't even know what that is. So you guys probably have the same thing. So we'll just start with the main company, American Realty Partners, I guess.
Okay.
I usually just go up here and click away. So for the reports, so you put a balance sheet and P&L statement, just go to the reports. So the main ones you use are going to be the trial balance, general ledger, and then we don't use this too often, but this is what you guys are asking for, I guess, is your profit and loss and balance sheet.
Well, we can use the trial balance, Cal, if that, I mean, obviously the trial balance will have the income statement and the balance sheet. Is that the easier way to do it?
So I like the trial balance, but if you guys want to know stuff by property,
Yeah.
then that's the trial balance is not going to be appropriate for you, I don't think. Because there's no way to customize it that I can tell using the classification of the by property.
Okay, so it's all lumped in together?
Well, I can show you here. Let's go to the profit and loss. So there is a place here to customize, and you can filter it by class. That's what we call the
Properties?
the properties.
Yeah.
This filter isn't available in the trial balance.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's just because it's just not available in QuickBooks or if it's just I haven't figured that out yet. So if you guys can figure that out, then great. I haven't been able to,
Gotcha.
and I don't think it is because we have a lot of transactions with that we don't put as we don't put a class. So all the general admin stuff. So ultimately, if there's going to be a 0 class or no class, and that doesn't show up in trial balance, then I guess your trial balance won't zero out. So that's probably why it's not available. But it is available in the general ledger, which I like.
Okay, because we're going to need to have that, Cal. We'll probably call it like an office portfolio. We call it portfolios the same thing, or buildings the same thing as what you're calling class. But basically, you have a non-class, which your G&A are going in. That's not applied to specific properties. Is that correct?
Yeah, so all your accounting, legal, audit. Yeah, there's of course all the marketing stuff.
Yeah.
We don't have classes, so.
Yeah, yeah. The accounting for the properties is probably pretty easy, and then you got all the rest of the stuff.
But having said that, we try to usually get most of that stuff into the. So this is ARP, American Realty Partners. They have a bunch of properties. So usually all the admin stuff we try to get to the public company, American Housing Income Trust. So they don't have any revenue coming through this entity. So it's because it's a public entity, we try all the accounting and legal, that kind of stuff. We usually try to dump into this entity.
Okay, so underneath this entity, Cal, there won't be any properties or any classes. That's just going to be one generic.
I'm not aware of any. I'm not aware of any properties or classes in this property. No.
Okay.
And there shouldn't be. So if there is, then that'd be a mistake.
All right, Naga. That'll kind of be like our office, Naga. What we can call it American Income and Trust Administrative Portfolio. Okay.
Okay.
So one thing maybe we'll hear. Maybe I'll show you. One thing I don't like about QuickBooks is the chart of accounts. It's not required to have any numbers. So we inherited this chart of accounts. So a lot of these accounts are not numbered, and we've just never gone through. We've never gone through and actually numbered some of the stuff. In addition, So every quarter we transfer this trial balance to our Caseware. Are you guys familiar with Caseware?
Just what you showed me briefly. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty popular among with public accounting, but it helps. We transfer this trial balance into our Caseware, and to make things even more complicated, the numbers in this in our chart of accounts here don't necessarily tie in with what the Caseware numbers are for whatever reason. So that may be a project one day down the road to clean up the chart of accounts. You know, if there's like you know, we have what 3 entities now with properties. So if you want to like create all the rental, property expense, insurance, and create one chart of account number for all 3, maybe one day we can go back and update the chart of accounts so that every entity shares that same account number for like insurance or something.
Okay, so you're saying right now, Cal, that they don't say for real estate taxes it might be a different number across the 3 entities.
Yeah. So if it's rental property insurance or rental property HOA fees or whatever,
Yeah.
I don't even know offhand if every one of them has an account number related to that particular expense.
Gotcha.
And if they do, they're probably not the same account number.
Okay.
So that's just something we don't. QuickBooks doesn't really require it, so therefore we've never really gone and done that. I would personally rather have a good chart of accounts. This has never been set up, so like I said, that may be a project only down the road to clean this up. Maybe at the beginning of next year or something.
Yeah, well, to me, it'd be probably a good idea to do it right now. We'll just create the chart of accounts, and obviously we got to make sure the trial balance reconciles to what you give us, but the account numbers could be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, just so you can see here that there's some things here that are lacking accounts. Although some of these are lacking accounts we don't really use. Let's have a look at something else here. Are you guys familiar with QuickBooks Online?
I have worked with it a little bit, and Naga's just a little bit. I don't know. Do you have any more experience with it, Naga, than what I've given you?
Yeah, so you can see here there's a bunch of stuff we've created recently, all the due to related party accounts we've never numbered here. So.
Okay.
Okay. So again, we don't really know. So I guess why I'm showing it now is because now that we're going to go and look at some of these reports, they're not necessarily numbered. Like a trial balance doesn't necessarily show numbers. It can show more just account names. So we can go to a P&L statement here. And custom. So I'm just going to do a P&L statement here for the year to date as of September 30th. I think that's going to work here.
Now these would tie out to what we gave to the auditors, Cal.
Well, the thing is, we never actually use this, so well, yeah, ultimately the numbers will, because it's a P&L statement tied in with the trial balance. We just always use the trial balance. But yeah, the numbers will. We can double check that.
Yeah, because I don't want to load them all in and find out we have a different set of books that we're working off of.
Yeah, let me just.
That would be a lot of time.
Okay, well, when you guys are ready, maybe we'll confirm that. And I'm saying that because I know I'm getting my days mixed up here. Whatever was the last day recently, just when Karen sent out the financials, we did do a top-level adjusting entry for some more accruals, I think, in the ARP company. So
So is this the best place to get the final numbers, Cal, or should you print us off something with the finals?
Yeah, so I can make sure it is. And that's definitely one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure we did September rather than October. It's just a matter of, like, I think there's a couple transactions which we just did an accrual in our caseware, which ultimately we were going to put into, we're going to change the date to put it into QuickBooks. But yeah, so when you guys are ready, we can make sure that this number is going to tie in with the with what's in the financial statements.
Well, we're ready, so whenever you can do that, please do that, because my plan is, as soon as we get done with this meeting, is I'm going to turn Naga loose, and she's going to be pulling numbers either from this or what you give us, and start loading by property into PropertyWare. And obviously, we're going to have to create chart of accounts to make sure they're correspondent to roughly what we have in all of the different properties, and then the administrative account. But once we get those set up, which should be, it should only take a day or two to do that, and then we'll be ready to start loading data.
Right. So let's just have a quick look here. So I'm just going to open up our share file.
Okay.
Is there any way that I can unblock you guys for a second? So you guys don't see my screen?
Yeah, you can stop sharing. I think there should be a button somewhere on your screen that basically stops the share. I could ask Elliot to stop it if you want me to. You want me to stop it?
Okay. We'll do something else here. No, I just go into our personal share file and I just try not to present that information.
Okay.
So this is actually what our caseware looks like. And I'm just going to go. Okay, so for ARP, we're showing $659,000 loss, and got 650,000. Yes, there's a couple of transactions that went through. That's just being reflected, and it is. These entries here. So I just got to put these entries into QuickBooks, and then that should balance everything out.
Okay.
I think Cameron's just going to wait until we got the okay from the auditors, but we'll just go ahead and do this now then. Okay, so
So once you do that, Cal, we can go ahead and use what's in QuickBooks, so it should be the same.
Sure.
Okay.
So to get the customization part, so basically, yeah, so hit up here. So QuickBooks has all these for the periods, quarter to date, year to date, prior year. And in the customization part, pretty much I would only use the filter here.
Like class.
Yeah, by class.
And is your class names, are they all just the property addresses, Cal?
Yes.
Okay.
So they're not. Yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good a naming feature. They're pretty accurate to what they actually represent for the property.
All right, so that's pretty close to what we named them in property work too. Okay.
So we can just pull up, say, Memorial Drive here. And that should pop up just so like the rental income and pretty much all there is there, interest, so all the mortgage stuff, HOA insurance. There's always a bunch of landscaping, usually some pool expenses, repairs. So it really cuts down on when you start breaking out by property, it really cuts down on the number of stuff here in the P&L statement.
Gotcha.
So that may be, do you, in your property what do you have, like, what do you propose you're going to use for like you're not going to use like a class. Are you going to like put every property as a number, or are you just going to keep it as a name?
Every property will be basically named like your classes.
Okay.
The property address is going to be what's called, in the property where it's called either a building, and then underneath the building there's typically, or above the building, there's things what's called a portfolio, which is just a collection of buildings. And the idea that one owner has a portfolio of property. And those are just two different collection points like classes are within the QuickBooks. So you can have at the building level or the portfolio level, you can do the accounting. So we'll probably have like a generic portfolio for the office, which is going to be all the administrative stuff you're talking about.
Yep.
And then all the properties are going to be named specifically by those property names. And obviously they're going to be assigned to a particular owner. American Realty Partners will be one owner. And then I think we have three or four different owners. Just different LLCs that will be used as another summary point.
Okay.
So what I'm going to need from you, Cal, is if you can just give me, I think you already gave it to me, just reconfirm it. After you book the entries in QuickBooks, is this the summary by those companies? What I should see when I get done on my side. We create our first opening balance, P&L, balance sheet, trial balance, whatever you want to call it, all of the above. We should be able to do just a summary by each one of those companies and have it tie out exactly to what you have. So that's the goal.
Yeah, it should work out. Yeah, what's tied out to the financials is we can usually tie in pretty close to what the trial balance is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not I'm not anticipating any problems there. So we can just go here.
Are the balance sheets all set up correctly, Cal? Do you have the building in the right class and the land in the right class, the AR in the right class, or are they all in one generic class? Or
so yeah, so for the real estate, we have broken up here by property.
You do, okay.
Yeah.
You know how you broke it down? Where did the land value come from? Did you actually go into a tax card of some type to get the land value, or did someone give you the land value?
Karen's the one that did that, and I don't know if she had some. She did. I'm not quite sure where she is at. And I don't know if she did that necessarily all herself, or if she's got some help with them. I think Jeff was kind of in charge. Jeff Howard was kind of in charge of the keeping track of some of the evaluations. I know the auditors have helped a bit too, breaking out how to allocate the properties. They gave some suggestions, and also on the property tax returns, sometimes they say. So there seems to be, I don't know, maybe maybe Karen can maybe give some better insight.
I'm sure they developed some mechanism to break it out, and that's how they got the numbers. As long as the auditors are happy with what this was done, I mean, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, they've looked at these numbers pretty closely over the months or years, so it's pretty good at the moment. Yeah, we also did the same thing with the loans broken out by property. So yeah, so just in the trial balance, so I prefer the trial balance, but like I said, it's not broken out by you can't break it out by or isolate it by property, by the property, so it's always just one big lump sum for the entity.
Gotcha.
So those are the, well, we just basically use the trial balance in general ledger, but so you can definitely in reports, there's a bunch of items, also the AP and AR aging. Let's go here.
Do you have intercompanies, Cal, that we use to move money around between all these different entities?
I'm sorry?
You have intercompanies that you're using to move money around between these different entities? Because I'm assuming one entity will run out of money and the other one funds it.
Yeah. Yes, there is. There's more than I wish there was. Yes, there's cash that moves around. Also, that sometimes there's invoices that get paid. So an example might be, I think there's a company called Arizona Angel Landscaping or something. So I guess they must have a contract because they do they do the landscaping for many properties above the AHIT companies. So I think a couple of Sean's personal companies ended up getting billed on this invoice. So we do intercompany that. And then the other big thing is going to be the the company now has is using a company credit card. So there's a lot of items that get that goes through there that's not related to AHIT. So Sean's personal stuff and his personal companies. Usually we try to get them to pay that that portion of the credit card rather than us actually intercompanying it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah. It's way too confusing.
Yeah, and then the other thing would be, so here's some. This is just from the credit card. We haven't posted these in QuickBooks yet, but there's a bunch of stuff. And then the other big thing would be we're putting Sean's payroll into the AHIT company, the parent company, but the payroll is actually done through our the main company, this company here. So this is the big company, ARP. That's where most of the activity happens, including the payroll. And so they pay the payroll through this company, and then we intercompany actually the salary expense to AHIT. So that's another one that we do. So there's more transactions than I'd like in the intercompany, but it could be worse.
Okay. Now, do you actually, when you intercompany, you don't actually move the cash from account to account. You're just doing an intercompany payable and a receivable and just leaving it there?
No, there's quite a bit of activity cash-wise that gets transferred among the entities, and so part of it's going to be because just by the fact that only like ARP and AHIT Valkyrie get in deposits for like rental stuff. So we would transfer some of that cash to the other entities to help cover the bills. Also, AHIT, the parent company, when they do actually get some investors come in, so we get some cash there, then we transfer some of that cash to the other entities. And then in the last few months, we've borrowed a lot of money for some of Sean's personal companies. And so there's all that kind of stuff that we balance out, usually on a monthly basis, but for sure on a quarterly basis.
Okay. Okay. And I'll have to get a handle on that stuff. That stuff's just where the confusion can come in. But obviously, it's just part of having a small business where you have multiple entities going through the same person. Okay.
So I was going to, maybe since you guys are looking at this, I'm going to, I've done everything here. But yeah, so you can go and, so this is the banking transactions page, and it talks to Wells Fargo, this page here, and it'll pull off these activities from the bank statement, and then you can go and it automatically just posts it to what QuickBooks thinks is the right account.
Yeah.
So it's a handy feature there. But you can see here, so this is the ARP company. We have 3 checking accounts and then 1 savings account. And there's also the lockbox, which doesn't get shown up here.
It doesn't, or it does get shown up there?
So there's that. And the other thing that I'm always in is the vendors. And Crazy Larry, he's one of our big pool guys.
Nice name.
Yeah, so usually we just enter in the bill here. So Chris will usually send us invoices on a weekly basis. We would then enter in the bills here, and then go into Wells Fargo and pay these bills. And once it goes through, once Wells Fargo pays it, then it'll show up in the banking transactions here, the screen, and we just go and match it to the outstanding AP item. So it works out pretty good.
That is pretty good. I like the fact that it tries to pulls it automatically and tries to give you the categorization. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So vendors is where you keep track of all the AR items. Sorry, customers. Customers is for all the AR items. So
this is all the tenants.
Yeah.
Okay.
And usually, I think Karen's pretty much got them all set up. So we create the invoices on a recurring basis. So you can go up to here. So the chart accounts that I showed you, and then the other big thing that we use is these recurring transactions. And with this, you can do like a monthly journal entry, a monthly AP item, a monthly invoice. And let's just pull up this one. So this way, they can create an invoice for the first of every month. Nothing gets printed or anything. We don't need to have a printed invoice.
Right.
But this just creates an outstanding AR item. And then again, when the customer sends deposits, or Chris deposits the checks, then we can go into the bank transactions page again and find the deposit and match it to the outstanding AR item.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, did you have any more questions on QuickBooks?
No, actually, I'm sure we're going to have a lot of them once we start going through and try and post and stuff. But do you know when you'll be able to get those entries made to have it tie out to the audited statements?
Yeah, I can do it this morning. Yeah.
Okay, great. I did ask you a couple questions on the quarterly report that you sent to the auditors, and really just about the balance sheet.
Yeah.
Depreciation subledger, do you have that in QuickBooks, or do you have a separate depreciation software you use?
The heck. Not through QuickBooks, no. I think everything's just done in a spreadsheet.
Okay.
All
right, can you send me that spreadsheet?
Yes.
I guess my generic questions there. I mean, obviously the bank balance, I'm assuming you have a bank rec that ties to that. And the accounts receivable, I'm assuming that's tenants that haven't paid at the end of the quarter. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, can you say it again?
Accounts receivable, is that tenants who haven't paid as of 9/30?
Yes.
So there should be a list that gets behind that
Yes.
of tenants. Okay. That other assets is, what is that?
Assets. Okay.
263,891.
So it's going to be some of the escrow amounts for the insurance and property taxes.
Okay. All right.
So that's going to be the majority of it.
Okay. So it's basically required by our banks. They keep it in escrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although we're kind of yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. And then there's looks like a small equipment. I'm assuming that's office equipment. There's some type of list behind that. And then the AP, I'm sure you got an AP list as of the end of the quarter. And then I think I saw the due to related parties in the footnotes. Prepaid and rent, you might have had that in the footnotes too. The notes payable, you had that in the footnotes. Yeah, you can just send me the depreciation subledger, and then whatever the lists are. I got to make sure we get those into PropertyWare too, and make sure that a good example of that AR list, that should be our opening balance on the tenant ledger for those particular tenants as of 9/30. And I just want to make sure they correspond to what you actually have.
Okay. Yeah. Everything's in our share file, so I'm trying to figure out how we can. Do you know how? It'd be nice if we can figure out how to turn off the screen for a second.
What's that, Cal?
Okay. Yeah, I can send that, so or at least direct you to in the share file where it's at.
Yeah, if you can just make it so I'm not searching like a needle through a haystack. I'm going to make my life a little bit easier. I appreciate that. Okay. Yeah, that's all I need for now. I think we've got enough to at least start fumbling our way, and then we'll go through the 1,000 questions to get to from the darkness to the light, but we'll eventually get to the light.
Right.
But yeah, that's all I need for now, Cal, and I'll just appreciate your time.
Okay. I'll get these changes, and I'll let you know when QuickBooks is updated.
All right, great. Thank you, sir. And I'll just get Elliot. Elliot, you still there? Thanks, Cal.
Okay.
Have a great one.
You too. Bye.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ken.
Go ahead and keep this recording and send it to me and Naga and Sari, please.
Okay.
You know how to do that? I hope so. It looks like we lost Naga.
I'll try and see, and then I'll try to email it to you, Jim.
If you can't, well, I've seen them before. I don't know if they go into YouTube or wherever they actually play them, but I've seen people do it as a training device. So
Oh,
it'd be,
yeah, I think it's telling me here that it's going to be recorded on my computer, so I can just send it to you.
okay. Thank you, sir. Have a great one.
You too. Bye-bye.